All right, hello, we're back again. All right, this time we're going to be talking about laws of the game of football. So, let's dive in, shall we? So, this document here is what are they? They're the international, make it a bit bigger. International Football Association Board. Something like that. All right, cool. So these are the main dudes that put out the laws of the game. I'm guessing they work with FIFA somewhere. There's FIFA and all the other logos underneath there. So yeah, from what I understand, I think there's 17 laws of the game. This document's 21, 22. I think it's the most recent one. So contents about laws, notes and modifications, laws of the game. 17 laws of the game. That's it. Pretty simple. So VAR, Video Assistant Referee Protocol, we don't have to worry about that. In junior stuff and non-professional, FIFA Quality Program, law changes, they'll go through some changes. Every year there's a couple of slight changes. Practical guidelines for match officials, I might go into that in a separate video. It's about the laws. Cool, there's kids playing football. Philosophy and spirit of the laws. Football is the greatest sport on earth. Cool. It's played on every continent, in every country, and at many different levels. The fact that the laws of the game are the same for all football throughout the world, from the FIFA World Cup through to the game between young children in a remote village, is a considerable strength which must continue to be harnessed for the good of football everywhere. Yep, everyone's got to know the rules of the game. About that, the future, lovely. Notes and modification on the game. Yep. All right, let's get to it. The general modifications. Now, what we're explaining here is the full laws of the game. So this, especially in junior sport, like the under, from 6 and kind of above up to about under 12s, I think, is when they start using these full kind of rules. But before then, we just use the kids are more trying to have fun. So if there's a slight handball, someone's kicked the ball and it's kicked into someone else's hand and it doesn't really affect the game, then it's probably not going to be called. Throw-ins that are not quite 100% legal, let the kids play. So those sorts of games will have, they've still got their own sort of rules, but they're modified compared to this. So might have to go through, find where the under 9s and under 10s kind of rules are and see what they're at. So for youth, veterans, disability, grassroots football, size of the field of play, size of the weight of the material of the ball, width between goalposts. So these laws are actually really, really good. They tell you how to mark out the field and what the official things are. For any level except competitions involving the first team of clubs in the top division or A international teams. The number of substitutes for each team is permitted to use a maximum of 5, so they've changed that a little while ago. So men's football or women's international football or any kind of, if they're using or the full rules, you'll have 11 players and 5 substitutes, and I think you can have up to 7 on the bench. Not sure to pick from. So these laws, everything sin bins. It's interesting. Haven't seen that before. Referee power and duties. All right. So this is an interesting one. Basically, the referee in the middle of the pitch, even at the smallest level or the highest level, has full control of the game and the whole thing. Like if there's something happening in the coaches, you'll see sometimes on on games, if they've done something wrong, they might get a yellow card from the referee. Sometimes it might be not to do with any players in the game. It might be something totally different. But the referee has control of everything, absolutely everything there. They can stop the game. They can kick everyone out of the stadium if they want. They can do whatever they want pretty much within reason. But they are the first and last kind of, authority there. So it just says here, disciplinary action, referee can show yellow or red cards where competition rules permit, temporarily dismiss a player from entering the field at the start of the match until the match has ended, including during the halftime interval, extra time and kicks from the penalty mark. So they can do all sorts of stuff. Temporary dismissal. You don't see it very often. But probably the best way to see it is when someone's injured or they have to go off the field for whatever reason, and then they want to come back on the field. They can't just come back on. They'll have to wait until the referee says so. And depending on what it is, sometimes the referee will let them on straight away. But if it's a corner or a free kick, sometimes the referee will wait until that free kick is done and then put them back on the field. So it's all up to the discretion of the umpire or the referee, as we call it in soccer. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't heard about this temporary dismissal thing. I think it's a new thing they're trying to do. Guidelines for return substitutes. So this is law 3. Let's go by it's all going through different laws. It hasn't started from the start by the looks of things. Let's try and go from number 1. How about that and start there? Laws of the game. Field of play. So this is regarding the field of play. If you're marking fields out, you'll have to know this stuff. If it's already marked for you, then you're pretty sweet. So the field of play must wholly be natural, or if competition rules permit, a wholly artificial playing surface, except where competition rules permit an integrated combination of artificial and natural hybrid system. It has to be, especially in the kind of professional leagues and international, has to be specific things. You can't just play on a cow paddock. So field of play must be rectangular, marked with continuous lines, must not be dangerous artificial playing surface and materials. Here we go. Field of play is divided into 2 halves by the halfway line, which joins the mid dots of the 2 touch lines. Centre mark is at the midpoint of the halfway line. A circle of the radius of 9.15 metres or 10 yards is marked around it. So all of that stuff, as we can see in this diagram, is specific, and it's all marked out in these rules. Okay, so we don't really need to know too much about that. Dimensions of the field, 100 yards maximum. Length, 50 yards. We're talking about goal line, 50 yards by 100 yards. So roughly 50 yards by 100 yards is minimum. Maximum length, 130 yards by 100 yards. So competitions may determine the length of the goal line. Every field is going to be slightly different. They're not all exact, but that's obviously the tolerance between what they can have. Dimensions for international matches, here we go. 100 metres or 110 yards by 70 yards, 100 metres by 64 metres. So it just depends. They're not all exact. Goal area, goal line, 5.5 metres, 6 yards from the inside of each goalpost. These lines extend to the field of play for 5.5 or 6 yards and are joined by a line drawn parallel to the goal line. So that's the 6-yard box. Penalty area, or the 18-yard box, comes in, and I think the penalty area is 12 yards. Or the penalty spot, let's say. Corner flags, radius of all that, if you really want to know. Flag posts, you've got to have flag posts. Technical area, you need to mark technical area. And generally when you're rocking up to the game, if you're the coach, you will talk to the other. If you're playing away from home, go find out what field you're on first, where you're playing. That's probably number 1. Number 2 is actually have a look at the field. I generally walk the field and see if there's any dangerous stuff there. Is there, what's the grass like, and kick a ball on there and have a look. yeah, and just find out where the other team wants you to put their stuff. Generally, they have a couple of marked areas, and they might have a little bench on each side just to kind of show that. Another good tip from me, generally, obviously, if you're the coach, you're going to get there a bit earlier. And what I always did was have some sort of colouring from your team. So I've got like a hat or a beanie or a scarf or something like that you can put on, so that when kids are arriving, they can actually see you from far away with those colours and say, okay, we're playing that way. That's the good little tip to help. So professional goals are 8 yards and 8 foot. So 7.32 metres and 2.44 metres high. Yep. So there's your goal dimensions. Obviously, different size goals for different age groups. This is a full size goal, so 8 yards by 8 foot. Commercial advertising. They've got all sorts of commercial advertising. They've got all sorts of stuff there. So if you're interested in that, you can have a look. Logos and emblems, video assistant referee review area. Okay, we don't need that. Law number 2, the ball. So there's several sizes of balls. The very, very small kids will use a size 3 from what I understand, and then up to a size 4, probably under 8s, 9s, 10s till under 12s. And I think under 13, 14, they start using full-size ball, which is a size 5 ball. So if you're ever buying a soccer ball for your kids or football for your kids, have a look what size they need to be playing with, and then kind of buy that ball. Just to do with the kids' feet. I had an issue last season with one of my young girls. She was great technique at shooting, and just every so often the ball would just go sideways. And I ended up having a look at her foot one day, because I thought, man, why? She's doing everything perfectly. And ended up her foot was so small, the radius of her, like where the laces were of her foot, was so small where she was kicking. There was only a few millimetres of surface area for her to kick the ball through. And if you get it slightly, a couple of metres or millimetres wrong, then, the ball's going to go in the wrong direction. So that's what was happening with her. And I said to her, you're doing everything perfectly. I don't know why, but I said, you're just going to have to eat some more food. You'll grow and your foot will get bigger. So no point having a smaller kid with a big ball. It's just not going to work. And reverse. Qualities and measurements, if you're really interested. Atmosphere, 600 to 1100 grams per cubic centimetre at sea level, if you really want to go that far. 8.5 pounds per square inch to 15.6 pounds per square inch. I usually, have my balls around 10, whatever's on the hand pump, or if you've got an electric one, that's fine. But just, it's got to have a tiny little bit of give. You don't want it to be like a rock, because it will just bounce everywhere. But you don't want to be, kicking your foot through the ball and half the ball's wrapping around your foot. It's that flat. So generally, another rule of thumb is you can actually hear when the ball's kicked. If you can hear that little kind of ping inside it, you can know it's a little bit flat. So once you get used to it, you can hear it, and you know which ball needs to be checked. But saying that, if before training, before a game, just check the balls. Generally, when you're playing a game at home, the home team will provide balls, and you'll have to have like the same ball. So make sure that if you've got 3 or 4 balls, whatever you're using, just make sure they're the same brand, and just check they're pretty much the same pressure and the same pressure. So law number 3, players, number of substitutes. We've gone through that. Every kind of league will be a little bit different. In the kids league, juniors, generally you'll have unlimited substitutions that can be made. Depending on how many substitutes you might have only excuse me. You might have 1 or 2 substitutes. You might have 5. I don't know. Just depends. So what I usually did when we have games, we played 2 25-minute halves, and half, like every quarter of the game, I just change a couple of players just to give them a bit of a go. Players and substitutes sent off. If you're sent off for whatever reason, you've got to go off. You can't whinge. Players outside of the field of play, if you've got substitutes warming up on the side of the field, just make sure they've got a different colour top on. So it might be just a jersey or something like that that's not the same colour as anybody that's playing, just in case they get a bit too close to the field. And you don't want to be, someone passes to your team that's not even there, they're warming up or whatever, because they look the same. So here we go. Goal scored with an extra person on the field of play. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Team captain. You've got to have a captain. In the juniors, you don't really have to, but yeah. So players' equipment, compulsory equipment, a shirt with sleeves, so you can't have like a tank top or anything like that. Doesn't have to be long sleeve. It can be just a short sleeve, but as long as it's got sleeves. Shorts, socks, tape or any material to apply worn externally must be the same colour as that part of the sock it is implied to or covers. So any tape, if you've got blue socks, you need blue tape. Shin guards, they must have. Footwear. So yeah, you can get football boots at any kind of sports store. They've got moulded ones these days in Australia. I don't know about overseas, but I used to have actually screw-in studs, which when they wore a little bit thin, they used to have metal inside them, so I think that's why they've gotten rid of them. But the ones that they've got now are moulded. They're all pretty much the same. So just find something that's reasonable. With kids, generally at the start of the season, I will buy my kids boots, and I'll buy them a little bit bigger than they need, maybe a size up, because at their age, they're growing like trees, and you might not last the season depending on your kids. So hopefully if you get it a little bit bigger, you should get at least a season out of it. Obviously, it's good just to check every few months that their feet are still there, because if they're running around, you don't want their feet curled up or their toes curled up, causing them pain. You don't want any issues with their feet down the track. So yeah, obviously the shirt, shorts, socks, shin guards, and football boots. Goalkeepers may wear tracksuit bottoms if they wish. Colours, obviously the two colours must not clash. And if you've got, just with the shorts and goalkeepers wearing tracksuit bottom, I understand some players might need to wear a different colour garment underneath their shorts or underneath their top for religious or whatever it might be purposes. From what I understand, you'll check with your club, but the general consensus is as long as it's kind of the same colour as the top then or the shorts, then you're pretty good. They don't really care. Unless it's like an international or something like that, or, professional league. Other equipment, headgear, face masks, knee and arm protectors made of soft, lightweight material, head covers, you can do that. Other thing, jewellery, just get rid of all jewellery. You don't need any watches, big watches and rings and necklaces, because you just lose it. And generally the referee will check before the game if they're switched on. Electronic communication, all right, blah, 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 we don't need that. Slogans, statements, images, and advertising, we don't care. Interpreting the law, when interpreting whether a slogan or statement is, we don't care. Offences, sanctions, if a player, for any offence, play need to be stopped and the player is instructed by the referee to leave the field of play to correct the equipment, leaves when play stops, unless the equipment has already been corrected. Player who leaves the field of play must have the equipment checked by a match official before allowed to re-enter. Okay, it doesn't happen really often. Law 5, referee, authority of the referee. Each match is controlled by a referee who has full authority to enforce the laws of the game in connection with the match. Decisions of the referee. Decision will be made to the best of the referee's ability according to the laws of the game and the spirit of the game, and will be based on the opinion of the referee. Based on the opinion of the referee. Now, it's very nice to be nice to the referee, because they might have a nice opinion. Just saying, yeah? Don't hassle them too much. Because they'll get upset at you, and because they're people, they get upset at teams as well. They get frustrated like anybody else, and it's within your best interest not to piss them off, quite frankly. And as much as referees are unbiased and they're, impartial, you can piss them off, and that might give them some sort of reason to be biased. Now, I'm not saying that this is a thing and they're not supposed to be, but this is just from what I've seen and what I've observed over the years, and just human nature involved. So we're out there to let our kids or ourselves or whoever's playing a sport. We're out there to have fun and get some good exercise and be healthy. So, might as well, be healthy and be fun and be nice to the referee. Like, it's not gonna hurt you. I know things, get competitive, heat of the moment, but just, make sure the referee is the main person and whatever they says goes, whether you agree with it or not, or even if they're wrong. Sometimes they get things wrong like anyone. Powers and duties of the referee. The referee enforces the laws of the game, controls the match in cooperation with other match officials, acts as timekeeper, keeps a record of the match, provides appropriate authorities with a match report, including information and disciplinary action. Advantage is a rule where something might have happened on the field, might have been a foul, and allows to play continue when the offence occurs, and the non-offending team will benefit from the advantage. So if someone commits a foul against you, but you're still running with the ball and you haven't lost the ball and you're in a good position, the referee may say advantage, and that means you just keep playing because it hasn't really penalised you that much and you're in a good position, and penalises the offence if the anticipated advantage does not ensue at the time or within a few seconds. So they might let the ball run for a bit and then, okay, well, it wasn't really a good advantage for the team, so we'll blow the whistle and we'll bring it back, have a free kick. Disciplinary actions, punishes serious offences. Yeah. Basically, the better that a team plays without fouling the other team or without, playing too rough, the referees like to actually let the game play, as in they don't want to get involved unless they have to. So if we're playing well and we're not making fouls, we're not doing other stuff, then the referee should let the game play. And that's the beauty of it. That's what we all want to see. We don't want to be having fouls every 2 seconds because, someone's not playing, to the best of their ability, or they're, intentionally fouling other players. Injuries. So if a player goes down with a injury or winjury, the referee will have a look, they'll assess it, and they might stop the game if they think it's serious. Especially these days with your head knocks and whatnot, they'll definitely stop the game for that, and get that sorted. Saying that, they might actually let the play run for a while, depending on what it might be, and it might be even the referee will never or might not want to stop the game for it, so that the team that's got the injured player might actually just kick the ball out, and the referee might then get some attention for him. Outside interference, floodlights, man, they've got everything here. Okay, video assistant referee. Referee's equipment, whistle, watch, red and yellow cards, notebook. So if you're in a junior setting and you're refereeing, under the modified game, like the under 9s, 8s and stuff, you just need a whistle, and just some reasonable shoes. But yeah, once you're playing full rules, you need a whistle, watch to tell the time, red and yellow cards, a notebook so you can keep any notes of red cards, goals, whatever. So that's it. So referees signals, penalty kick, they'll point to the penalty spot. Indirect free kick will be arm in the air. Direct free kick will be that one there. Advantage 1. Advantage 2. Sometimes it's 2. Corner kick, they'll point to the corner. Goal kick, they'll point to the goal 6-yard box. Red and yellow cards, they lift the red and yellow card in the air above the player that they are wishing to do it. So it signals to everyone that they've received that, and then they write it in their book. What the heck's this? Check finger to ear. Oh yeah. Other hand, arm extended. So that must be TV signal. So that's the TV review. Liability of match official, blah blah blah. All right, law 6. Other match officials. So We've got now, we'll leave the VAR, video assistant referee, out of it because we're not really going to be dealing with that in the sphere that we're talking about unless your kid becomes a professional player one day, which that's awesome. That'll be great, but we won't worry about it here. So basically we've got assistant referees. You'll have one on each side. So say you're in the middle of the field. Where are we? Let's get this coaches board going. Oops, hang on. Get rid of that for a second. Okay, so you'll have, let's say this is your, say this is your referee here in the middle. You'll have one sideline referee on this side, and you'll have one sideline referee on this side. So this referee, say the number 2 on the top of the screen on the left-hand side, they will call that side of the field, that half of the field offside and throw-ins, and then the number 3 will do their side of the field. So they'll come up to halfway, that's their area, and they'll come up to this side, and they'll do the offsides, they'll do all the flagging for there. Also, generally, just say that we've got these players down here are the bench. The number 3 referee or the official and that assistant referee on that side will also run the bench. So if someone wants to, or a coach wants to change a player, they will go and ask the assistant referee first, yep, we want to change a player. That assistant referee will signal to the middle umpire, and then they will, when the next available time is to change a player, they'll do that. In the junior sphere again, where it's modified rules, generally you won't have that. You'll just have one referee in the middle, and then generally when I was refereeing, I just told them just change them whenever you want. I don't care. Yeah, so that's it. Or you can just tell the referee, listen, we'll change next change or whatever, and then when the ball's out of play or whatever, they'll just quickly run on and run off. It's not really too official or anything like that. Fourth official, supervising the substitution procedure. So this is more in the professional games. You'll have a fourth official, and they'll run the bench, basically. Additional assistant referees, if you need additional assistant referees, they might be on the touchline looking for goal if the ball goes over the goal line. Assistant referee signals, okay, that's a substitution, I think. Substitution, yep. Free kicks, they'll wave if there's a free kick for offending team and defending team. There you go, left hand or right hand. Throw in. Left hand, right hand, whichever team they're doing it for. Corner kick, they'll point at the corner. Goal kick, they'll point it straight at the 6-yard box, basically. Offside, you'll lift your hand up. Offside on the near side, 2A, on the field. And then 2B, offside in the middle of the field is the middle. And then offside on the far side of the field is slightly up. So yeah, if you end up doing some assistant refereeing for your junior kids, as you probably will eventually, good to know these things. Okay, additional referee, yep. Law 7, duration of the match. So all different durations. The main match will be for a full adult, let's say, match is 90 minutes, so 2 45-minute halves, plus injury time. Half-time interval is usually players in total interval half-time not exceeding 15 minutes. So generally in the junior game you get 5 minutes, which is fine. Have a drink, have an orange, and keep playing. So allowance for time lost. Allowance is made by the referee in each half for all playing time lost in that half through substitutions, injuries, wasting time, disciplinary sanctions, medical stoppages, delays relating to VAR checks, any other case including significant delay to restart. So allowance for lost time, that's what we call it injury time, basically, because they're looking at if there's anyone injured and they spent 2 minutes getting assessed by medical staff or whatever, then they add that time on at the end of each half. So that's what we call injury time. Sometimes we'll call it Fergie time because it always used to happen to a certain club. Fourth official will indicate the time. Generally, for juniors, it would just be the middle umpire, the referee. The referee must not compensate for a timekeeping error during the first half by changing the length of the second half. Okay, cool. Abandoned match, you don't get that often. Law 8, start and restart of play, kick-off procedure. So 2 teams, one will kick off. Everyone has to be outside of that circle in the middle of the field. And then the middle people kick off. Once the whistle is blown. Drop ball procedure. Sometimes if something happens, like someone's injured or whatever, and then they have to stop the game in the middle of the play, the referee might drop the ball. And generally, if a team has had their player injured and they've wasted the time, and the ball is dropped, and you're kind of in the defensive, your own defensive, or your own attacking zone, let's say, so you're in a part of the field where it's not really that dangerous or anything like that. Generally, you will kick it back to the opposition team just as a matter of goodwill, because you've wasted time in the game by having an injured player injured. You will generally give the ball back to them, and they'll start from their defensive line and they'll start playing again. That's generally how it runs. Although sometimes it doesn't. I don't know, it just depends. So they'll do a drop ball. Here we go. Nice. Refereeing. Looks like in J-League, Japan maybe. Law number 9. Ball in and out of play. This is very, very important. And I'll have you this one here. The ball is out of play when it is wholly passed over the goal line or touch line, on the ground or in the air. So this is one that kind of, especially if you need to be an assistant referee, or you might be, refereeing a game, the whole of the ball has to pass over the goal line. So if the ball moves halfway on the goal line and then gets saved by a goalkeeper, it's not a goal. The whole of the ball has to be over. Same as when it's a throw-in on the side of the field, the whole of the ball has to go over the touch line or goal line. So that's what it is. So we need to make sure that if we're doing that, we need to train our kids to make sure that we only respond to the referee's whistle and stuff like that, but only it's a throw-in if the whole of the ball goes out. And the ball is out of play when play has been stopped by the referee. Okay, so when the referee blows his or her whistle, then the ball is out of play. So you can't kick the ball, can't continue playing. And generally, if you're really being naughty and you continue playing on for ages and a referee has to blow the whistle 10 times, then they might give you a yellow card for wasting time. So the ball is out of play when it touches a match official, remains on the field of play, and a team starts a promising attack, or the ball goes directly into the goal, or the team in possession of the ball changes. In all these cases, play is restarted with a drop ball. So yeah, a few other things which you don't really get usually. Sometimes the ball might touch the referee, and they're just saying, like, if it touches the referee and it just goes into the goal for some reason, then they'll do a drop ball. Ball is in play at all other times when it touches a match official and when it rebounds off a goal post, crossbar or corner flag post and remains on the field of play. So a few little things there. If it hits the post or whatever and it bounces back, the ball's still in play. So general rule of thumb, play the whistle until the referee blows the whistle, goes brrr, then keep playing. And this is kind of something that kids, you need to teach them, because the ball's out, the ball's in, and by the time they turn around, they've kicked a goal, the other team's kicked a goal against them while they're wondering if was the ball out or in. Don't worry about that. If we teach them to play to the referee's whistle, then no problems. Even if you kick a goal after you think the ball was out or something's happened, still keep playing. Simple as that, until you hear the referee's whistle. Law 10, determining the outcome of a match. Okay, goals scored. Obviously, the goal with team with more goals at the end of the match wins. Pretty simple, winning team. Now, sometimes in normal competition season where they do not need a result, they will have a draw. If it's 1-1 or 2-2, whatever it might be, 0-0 sometimes, that's fine. There's no issue with that. Some matches, whether it might be a final or some sort of thing where you need to have a result, where one team needs to win, then they will go to the whole extra time and then penalties as well. So here we go. Good example of no goal. The ball is not over the line. And this one is a goal because the whole of the ball is over the line. So pretty good demonstration there. And we can see again, here's the goal line. The whole of the ball needs to be over the goal line. So pretty simple there. Before kicks from the penalty mark start, unless there is other considerations, referee tosses a coin to decide. So this is at the start of the... Before kicks from the penalty mark start, unless there are other considerations, the referee tosses a coin to decide the goal at which the kicks will be taken. Okay, yep. Which may only be changed for safety reasons. Okay, who cares? I don't really care. That's if you have to have penalty, shootout or something like that. That's fine. Law 11, offside. Here we go. Let's get into the good stuff. Offside position. It is not an offence to be in an offside position. So it's not in and of itself an offence or a foul or something like that, just to be standing in an offside position. A player is in an offside position if A, any part of the head, body or feet in the opponent's half, excluding the halfway line, and any part of the head, body or feet is nearer to the opponent's goal line than the ball and the second last opponent. So, if second last opponent, so generally the last opponent will be the goalkeeper. So if you've got one defender and a goalkeeper, and you're behind, or let's say towards your goal where you're shooting towards, so if you've passed that last defender and you've just got your goalkeeper and yourself there, then that's an offside position. Saying that, it's not an offence to be in an offside position until there's certain offences that happen. So you'll see a lot of the time, especially in the professional matches, the actual people will go offside to trick the opponents and to do other stuff, and then they'll quickly run onside or they won't be part of the play. So the hands and arms of all players, including the goalkeepers, are not considered for the purposes of determining offside. The upper body boundary of the arm is the line with the bottom of the armpit. So basically this is saying what part of the body is offside, and from what I understand generally, to sum that all up, is what you can touch the ball with legally, which is your head, your chest, your legs, your feet. That's offside. So if any of those parts are offside, then it's offside. If you put your hand out past the last defender, you cannot touch the ball with your hand legally during the game, then your hand is not part of that offside. So it has to be like a playable part, from what I understand. So this says here, for the purpose of determining offside, the upper boundary of the arm is in line with the bottom of the armpit. So basically, cut off your arms. That's what they're saying. So your body and everything else is in, but your arms and stuff is not. So yeah, for the purpose of determining offside, the upper boundary of the arm is in line with the bottom of the armpit. The player is not in an offside position if level with this second last opponent or last two opponents. So if you're level is not offside. Level is not offside. So if you're in level with the last defender and none of those bits of your body are protruding past them, then you are not offside. Saying that, in the junior landscape we have inexperienced assistant referees who will a lot of the time make mistakes if it's that close. What I suggest to train the kids to be slightly onside, and that will hopefully help young kids not to stray offside, but as well it will help assistant referees to see there's a slight bit of daylight between the attacker and the last defender. Then we'll know for sure that they're not offside. But if you're standing in line with them, they can't quite see, they can't quite this, they don't know, they might just call offside even if it's not. So there's another tip. So yeah, all right. So offside offence. A player in an offside in an offside position at the moment the ball is played or touched by a teammate is only penalised on becoming involved in active play. So this is the first offence of offside. So a player in an offside position at the moment the ball is played or touched. So if you're in an offside position, say your leg is past the second last or the last defender, and there's a goalkeeper in front of you, and when the ball is passed to you at that moment, ball is passed to you by another teammate, and your leg is in front of that defender, then that's offside. And the teammate is only penalised on becoming involved in an active play. So if they've passed it to you, the ball to you, and you become involved in that active play, then that becomes an offside offence. So becoming involved in active play by interfering with play by playing or touching the ball. So you're involved, and that's the definition of it. You're interfering with play by playing or touching a ball passed or touched by a teammate. So that's where I just kind of gave that example. Or interfering with an opponent by preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the opponent's line of vision, or challenging an opponent for the ball. So you're involved in active play. You become involved in active play if you prevent an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the opponent's line of vision. So if, for instance, and I've seen this several times happen, where the ball is very, very close to kind of the goal line, and there's a bit of a muck around, and a person might be, or your teammate might take a shot, and you're in an offside position, but the shot doesn't go to you directly. It goes into the opposite corner of the goal, but you just happen to be standing right in front of the goalkeeper and obstructing their line of vision. Then you could be an offside offence because you've clearly obstructed the opponent's line of vision. And it might not be on purpose. It might be the goalkeeper's in the wrong position, but just happens that you're in front of them and they can't see the ball being kicked. Then I've seen those being given as offside, even though the ball has never passed to you. The intention was not to give the ball to you; it was just for a shot. So then that's classed as becoming involved in active play. Challenging an opponent for the ball, which is fair enough. So you're actively trying to get to the ball. That could be offside as well. All right, the first point of contact of the play or touch of the ball should be used. Okay, so that goes up. That's a little star. It goes up. A player's offside position the moment the ball is played or touched. So the first point of contact of the play or touch of the ball should be used. Clearly, attempting to play a ball which is close when this action impacts an opponent, or making an obvious action which clearly impacts the ability of an opponent to play the ball. So if you fake trying to pass the ball or get into the ball, then that's counted as a touch, basically. So you're trying to get actively involved in a play, whether you're deliberately doing that or not. That's what it's saying there. Making an obvious action which clearly impacts the ability for an opponent to play the ball. Or gaining an advantage by playing the ball or interfering with an opponent when it has rebounded or been deflected off a goalpost, crossbar, match official or opponent, been deliberately saved by an opponent. A player is in an offside position receiving... I'll start that again. A player in an offside position receiving the ball from an opponent who deliberately plays the ball, including by deliberate handball, is not considered to have gained advantage unless it was a deliberate save by an opponent. A save is when a player stops or attempts to stop a ball which is going into or very close to the goal with any part of the body except the hands, arms, unless goalkeeper within penalty area. In situations where a player moving from or standing in an offside position is in the way of an opponent and interferes with the movement of the opponent towards the ball, this is an offside offence, and if it impacts the ability of the opponent to play or challenge for the ball. So it's like that example I just gave. If they're in the line of sight of a goalkeeper or something like that, or you've tried to tackle or grab the ball, get the ball out, and it interferes, and it impacts on the ability for an opponent to play or challenge for the ball. If the player moves in the way of the opponent, impedes the opponent's progress, blocks the opponent, the offence should be penalised under Law 12, which is, where are we? What's this law? Law 11, so Law 12, which is probably a penalty. Fouls and misconduct, yep. So they'll give it a foul, basically, which is fair enough if you're impeding on a player. A player in an offside position, so they're saying there that if you've impeded an opponent or you've blocked them or whatever, the offence should be penalised under Law 12. So it's just saying it should be a foul given rather than an offside. A player in an offside position is moving towards the ball with the intention of playing the ball and is fouled before playing or attempting to play the ball or challenging an opponent for the ball. The foul is to be penalised as it has occurred before the offside offence. So if the ball's moving towards the ball with the intention of playing the ball and is fouled before playing or attempting to play the ball or challenging an opponent for the ball, the foul is penalised as it has occurred before the offside offence. So say a free kick against a team, the free kick taker is wanting to put the ball into the box and there's a player that's offside. If they're jockeying for a position, they're trying to get into a good position to defend or attack the ball, and the defender fouls them, even though they're in an offside position, before the ball is played or before it becomes offside, then it's a foul because the offside offence has not been committed yet, even though they're in an offside position. So, yep. There is no offside offence if a player receives the ball directly, A, from a goal kick, B, a throw-in, or C, a corner kick. So remember those. That's actually a good one to train. No offside from a goal kick, throw-in, or corner kick. And basically anything that's kicked from your half to the attacking half, if you kick a ball like a long ball from there, then it's not offside. Offences and sanctions. So if an offside offence occurs, the referee rewards indirect free kick where the offence occurred, including if it is in the player's own half before the field of play. Defending player who leaves the field of play without referee's position. Okay, so that's just saying what the offences are for that. Fouls and misconduct. Here we go. Interesting part as well. Direct and indirect free kicks and penalty kicks can only be awarded for offences committed when the ball is in play. So if someone is wasting time on the ground when they're injured and they're actually wasting time, or they're not injured, they're whingered and they're not wasting time, or they are wasting time, you can't give a direct free kick. You just give them a yellow card. So a direct free kick is awarded if a player commits any of the following offences against the opponent in a manner considered by the referee to be careless, reckless, or using excessive force. So charges, jumps out, kicks or attempts to kick, pushes, strikes or attempts to strike, including headbutt, tackles or challenges, trips or attempts to trip. If an offence involves contact, it is penalised by a direct free kick. Careless is when a player shows a lack of attention or consideration when making a challenge, or acts without precaution. No disciplinary sanction is needed. Reckless is when a player acts with disregard to the danger to or consequences for an opponent and must be cautioned. Using excessive force is when a player exceeds the necessary use of force and or endangers the safety of an opponent and must be sent off. Okay, so they're the different grades. So careless, you might just get like a no disciplinary sanctions. You might just get a free kick. awarded against you. If it's just, you've come in for a tackle, you're a little bit too late, and you've, tripped over the other player because you're a little bit late with the ball, your timing was off, then it'll just be a free kick. If it's reckless, with disregard to danger, so if you really come in hard and you hit them and cause the player to realise a really hard and rough tackle, and you've got disregard, like it's reckless, like you shouldn't have had to tackle that hard, especially like, let's say you've got the ball in your attacking thing near the opponent's goal, and the opponent's got the ball clearly and there's not much pressure on the ball, and then all of a sudden you just run up and just tackle them really hard. There's not really any need to do that at that stage of the game. So that will be cautioned with a yellow card. So caution is a yellow card and excuse me, red card is being sent off. So using excessive force, where a player exceeds the necessary use of force and endangers the safety of an opponent, must be sent off. So where a player, especially in juniors, sometimes you'll see as they're going in for a tackle, sometimes they'll try and tackle from behind the player to try and get the ball, which is in front of the player's legs. That's a big no-no. It's very dangerous, and usually you'll get a yellow card and sometimes a red for that. And anything where you're diving in with 2 feet as a tackle, generally you'll be looking for a red. And the other thing is that we don't like is when you lift your foot up and you point the toes up and you show your studs and tackle with your studs to another player. Generally you'll be asking for a red card there. So any of that stuff, just don't do it. And I think we don't need to do those fouls because if we're following someone and we can't get to them, there should be another player in front that should be able to get to him to slow him down. It's a team game. Sometimes you might see where the other opponent has gotten the ball, there's a quick transition, you've lost the ball and the other opponent gets the ball and they're running up the field and there's not much defence in front of them. Sometimes they'll just grab them or do any kind of little foul to stop them so they can get some defence behind the ball. We call that a professional foul. Generally they're going to pull their shirt or do something. They won't usually come in and tackle them from behind. But that will be generally a yellow card straight up. A direct free kick is awarded if a player commits any of the following offences. A handball offence, except for a goalkeeper, holds an opponent, it's a direct free kick. Impedes an opponent with contact, so just letting you know the football or soccer is not a contact sport technically. You can go shoulder to shoulder to move someone out of the way or kind of get in front of them, but definitely no hands out pushing or no kicking or anything like that. It's just shoulder to shoulder and trying to kind of get to that front position for the ball. If you handball offence, holds an opponent, impedes an opponent with contact, bites or spits at someone on the team list or at a match official, throws an object at the ball, an opponent or match official, or makes contact with the ball with a held object, okay? So that's that, and that's a direct free kick. So direct free kick is the person that's taking the ball can actually have a shot on goal. Indirect means it has to touch someone else first. So handling the ball, handball offences. So if the ball makes contact with a player's arm or hand, generally it's going to be a handball offence. But saying that, if the arm is tucked into the body and you're straight down your body and the ball hits that, it's basically the same as hitting the side of your chest or whatever. Generally they might not give those, just depends on the situation. But if you're anywhere, rule of thumb, if your hand is away from your body, excuse me, and the ball touches it, then you're looking for handball. There are certain circumstances in the professional ranks where sometimes they might have their defender in the box, might have their hand away from the body. Cheeky attacker sees that and actually kicks the ball into the hand on purpose. You've seen them given and you've seen them not given. It just depends on the referee. So just go again with the referee's thing, but just generally, especially when you're defending in the box, you'll see a lot of players these days actually have their hands behind their backs, basically, so they can, minimise the touches with the ball by the hands. So just especially in juniors. So yep, here we go. Good diagram. No handball is that bit, and then handball is down there. Same for offside as well. Indirect free kick is awarded to a player if plays in a dangerous manner, impedes the progress of an opponent with any contact being made, is guilty of dissent, using offensive, insulting, abusive language. How dare you? Prevents the goalkeeper from releasing the ball from their hands or kicks, or attempts to kick the ball when the goalkeeper is in the process of releasing it. So that, yeah, it'll probably be yellow there. Initiates deliberate trick for the ball to be passed, including from a free kick or goal kick to the goalkeeper with the head, chest, blah, blah, blah. Commits any other offence not mentioned in the laws. Yeah, so basically an indirect free kick is awarded if a goalkeeper inside the penalty area commits any of the following offences. If the goalkeeper controls the ball with the hand arm for more than 6 seconds, so you need to release the ball within 6 seconds once they grab it, which I don't think I've ever seen that given in any professional league. I don't know why they have it. Touches the ball with the hand after releasing it, and before it was touched by another player. Okay. Touches the ball with the hand arm unless the goalkeeper has clearly kicked or attempted to kick the ball and released it into play. Yeah. Playing in a dangerous manner. Any action that threatens injury to someone, includes preventing of a nearby opponent from playing the ball or fear of injury. A scissor or bicycle kick is permissible, provided that this is not dangerous to an opponent. That's a good one. Impeding the progress of an opponent without contact. Impeding the progress of an opponent means moving into the opponent's path to obstruct, block, or slow down, or force a change of direction when the ball is not within playing distance of either player. All players have a right to their position on the field of play. Being the way of an opponent is in the way of an opponent is not the same as moving in the way of an opponent. No, disciplinary action. Yep. So yellow card communicates a caution. So if you ever hear someone got a caution in a game, that's a yellow card. And the red card communicates a sending off. So if they've been sent off, they've been red carded. Only a player, substituted player, or a team official may be shown the red or yellow card. Delaying the restart of play to show a card. Yep. Advantage. Yep. The referee can give a yellow card after the fact if they've called advantage. Cautionable offences. There's heaps of them. Cautions for unsporting behaviour. Celebration of a goal. Delaying the restart. Yeah. So all these little kind of stuff. The violent conduct. Yeah. Basically it'll be red. Sending off, delaying the restart, play. Now, other thing as well, if you don't know already, if you get a yellow card in the game, that's a caution. You can get a second caution, but if you get that second caution, that's a red. So you get one chance, and then the second chance is not a chance. Your second time, you're off. So 2 yellow cards equals red, and you're off. So they will show you a yellow card for, say, you've done something in the first half, you get a yellow card. If you get a second yellow in the second half, then it will follow very shortly by a red card. You'll be sent off. Now, there's one, entering opposing technical area. Yeah. Video, operation room. If you enter that, you might get a red card. So, yeah, anything that there's a red card. There's one I'm just trying to look for. Which is the red card for last defender. No. Basically, restarted play. Where is it? Sending off. Here we go. Delaying, deliberately leaving technical area to show dissent. Entering opposition technical area. Throwing or kicking an object onto the field of play. Entering field of prey to confront a player. Yeah, so here we go. Receiving a second caution in the same match as a red card, using offensive language. Authorised electronic communication equipment, violent conduct. Where is it? So basically, if you if you commit a professional foul, just say you're attacking, you've got one defender in front of you, and then, you're defending, you've got attacker that's just passed you, let's say. So the attacker now, let's say they've passed you on the edge of the box, or just about to pass you on the edge of the box, and there's only the goalkeeper behind you, no one else. So the attacker will be in a attacking position on goal if they pass you, right? So it's pretty good chance they're going to score a goal. If you do a professional foul and you foul them as the last defender, let's say, which is just the goalkeeper next, that is a red cardable offence, and it has to be a straight red card. Sometimes you see yellow when they shouldn't, but generally, if you do that and it's a proper professional foul or something dirty foul that you've done, and it's the last defender, it will be straight red. So just keep that in mind for teaching your kids. Direct and indirect free kicks are awarded an opposing team of players, substitute, blah, blah, blah. Indirect free kick, here we go. Referee indicates an indirect free kick by raising the arm above the head. The signal is maintained until the kick has been taken and the ball touches another player, goes out of play, or it is a clear goal. It goes out of play, or it is clear that a goal cannot be scored directly. An indirect free kick must be retaken if the referee fails to signal that the kick is indirect and the ball is kicked directly into the goal. So they'll retake it again. So just got to sometimes you just ask the referee, direct, indirect, they'll tell you which one it is. So the ball must touch someone else before you can take a shot. So ball into the goal. If a direct free kick is kicked directly into the opponent's goal, goal is awarded. If an indirect free kick is kicked directly into the opponent's goal, the goal kick is awarded. If an direct or indirect free kick is taken directly into a team's own goal, a corner kick is awarded. Interesting. I've never seen that before. So if you have a indirect free kick, and you kick it all the way back to the other side of the field into your own team's goal, then it's a corner. I've never seen that before. But anyway, so all free kicks are taken where the offence occurred. Indirect free kicks to be to an attacking team for an offence against inside the opponent's goal area, which is the penalty area, are taken from the nearest point on the goal area line, which runs parallel to the goal line. Free kicks to the defending team in their goal area may be taken from anywhere in that area, so that's cool. Free kicks, ball must be stationary. When you take a free kick, you can't be rolling and then free kick. The referee will usually get you to take the ball back and stop it. Feigning to take a free kick to confuse opponents is permitted as part of football. So you can do all that stuff. Offences and sanctions, yada, yada, yada. So you can read that at your own leisure. Law 14, penalty kick. Okay. So when the referee signals for a penalty kick, the ball will be put down into the penalty spot. The players, other than the kicker and goalkeeper, must be at least 10 yards from the penalty mark, which is behind the D. Behind the penalty mark, inside of the field of play, outside of the penalty area. After the players are taking positions in accordance with this law, referee signals for the penalty kick to be taken. The player taking the penalty kick must kick the ball forward. Backheeling is permitted, provided the ball moves forward, so you can turn around and do a backheel. When the ball is kicked, the defending goalkeeper must have at least part of 1 foot touching or in line with the goal line. So this is one that they changed it a few years ago, but they cracked down on it pretty hard, because goalkeepers used to, just before the goal kick or the penalty kick was about to be taken, they'll jump out to try and narrow the angle down. And you can see if you go back 10, 15, 20 years, man, they're getting 2-3 metres in front of the line. So they changed that rule, and you have to be on the line when the goal is kicked. When the penalty is kicked. So the ball is in play when it is kicked and clearly moves. The kicker must not play the ball again until it has touched another player. So if you take the penalty, hits the post or hits the goalkeeper and bounces back, if goalkeeper and bounces back is fine, but it says here kick not touch the ball again until it's touched another player. So if it hits the post and comes back, that person can't kick that ball again. The penalty kick is completed when the ball stops moving, goes out of play, or the referee stops play for any offence. Offence and sanctions. If they stuff it up, generally they'll retake it. If the goalkeeper offends, they'll retake it. Yeah, blah blah blah. There's a table there. Yep, here we go. Nice save there. Look at that. Big dive. Law 15, a throw-in. Woohoo! Getting there. Throw-in is awarded to opponents of the player. Last touch the ball when the whole of the ball passes over the touchline on the ground or in the air. Goal cannot be scored directly from a throw-in. Believe it or not, if the ball enters the opponent's goal, a goal kick is awarded. If the ball enters the thrower's goal, a corner kick is awarded. So here we go. This is a good thing to teach the juniors. The throwers must, at the moment of delivering the ball, the thrower must stand facing the field of play. So you can't throw it backwards, unlike some other codes of football in Australia when they throw it in from the side. Have part of each foot on the touchline or on the ground outside the touchline. So you must have part of each foot on the touchline or on the ground outside the touchline. So you can't be inside the touchline and then throw it from inside. You can't run in 10 metres and then throw it. Throw the ball with both hands from behind and over the head from the point at where it left the field of play. So the ball must be thrown with both hands behind, and it needs to be pulled behind and over the head. So you put it behind your head with two hands, and then you throw it in almost like a catapult, you know. If you could imagine that, from coming from behind your head, over your head, and it throws. All opponents must stand at least 2 metres, 2 yards, slight difference, from the point on the touchline where the throw-in is to be taken. The ball is in play when it enters the field of play. The ball touches the ground before entering. The throw is retaken by the same team. If the throw-in is not taken correctly, it is retaken by the opposing team. Yep. Offences and sanctions. If after the ball is in play, the thrower touches the ball again before it has touched another player, an indirect free kick is awarded if the thrower commits a handball offence. Yep. Cool, there's a throw-in. So that's just showing behind the head. That's actually a good picture to show. It needs to be 2 hands behind the head, and then you can throw it in from there. And make sure, the other thing, I don't know if we skipped it, but the feet cannot leave the ground. So you can't have one foot throwing. Once you throw the ball, you can't lift the other foot. They both have to be on the ground. All right. Law 16, the goal kick. Look at this. Great stuff. So if the ball, if a goal kick is awarded when the whole of the ball passes over the goal line on the ground or in the air, having last touched a player of the attacking team, and a goal is not scored. So if it's no goal and it passes over the goal line where the attacking team has touched it last, then it's a goal kick. Goal may be scored directly from a goal kick, but only against an opposing team. If the ball directly enters a goal kicker's goal, a corner kick is awarded to the opponent. So if you kick it backwards into your own goal, it's a corner. Procedure: the ball must be stationary and is kicked from any point within the goal area by a player of the defending team. So that means the 6-yard box. It can't be inside the 18-yard box. It has to be anywhere in the 6-yard box. The ball is in play when it is kicked and clearly moves. Opponents must be outside the penalty area until the ball is in play. So they have to be outside the penalty area. Saying that, they've now moved the rules that your defenders can be inside the penalty area. So you can have someone 1 metre from you and kick it to them, and that's fine. Fences. If the ball is in play, the kicker touches the ball again before it has touched another player, an indirect free kick is awarded. If the kicker commits a handball offence, the direct free kick is awarded. Penalty kick is awarded for an offence occurred inside the kicker's penalty area. Of course it must be. If a goal kick is taken by any if, when a goal kick is taken, any opponents are inside the penalty area because they did not have time to leave, the referee allows play to continue. If an opponent who is in the penalty area when the goal kick is taken or enters the penalty area before the ball is in play touches or challenges for the ball, the goal kick is retaken. All right, pretty simple. If a player enters the penalty area before the ball is in play and fouls or is fouled by an opponent, the goal kick is retaken. An offender must be cautioned, sent off depending on the offences. All right, so here's a nice aerial view of someone taking a goal kick. So see, that's that 6-yard box. The ball's on the line, so it's not over the line, has to be at least touching the line, and they're coming in to take a nice big kick, looks like. All right, here we are. Law number 17, the corner kick. Corner kick is awarded when the whole of the ball passes over the goal line, on the ground or in the air, having last touched a player of the defending team, and a goal is not scored. A goal may be scored directly from a corner kick, but only against the opposing team. If the ball directly enters the kicker's goal, a corner is awarded on the other side. That's funny. Corner kick is awarded when the whole of the ball passes over the goal line or on the ground or in the air, having last touched a player of the defending team, and a goal is not scored. So the ball must be placed in the corner area to the point where the ball passed over the goal line. So depending on which side, if it's ball went over the left-hand side of the goal line, then you take the kick on the left-hand side corner. The ball must be stationary and is kicked by a player of the attacking team. The ball is in play when it is kicked and clearly moves. It does not need to leave the corner area. The corner flag post must not be moved. Opponents must remain at least 10 yards from the corner arc until the ball is played. So if there's a foul, someone else touches the ball, penalties and all sorts of stuff. A player, while correctly taking a corner kick, deliberately kicks the ball at an opponent in order to play the ball again, but not in a careless, reckless manner or using excessive force. The referee allows play to continue. Cool. So there's the corner arc, and the ball there. This dude, Cruz, is looking to do it. Video assistant referee. Don't worry about that so much. You can read it at your leisure. There's a video assistant referee looking at things there. FIFA quality game program. Read that if you want. Law changes. Law 11. Inclusion of the Law 12 definition where an arm ends bottom of the armpit for purpose of determining offside fence. So yeah, there's a few changes here and there. Details of all the law changes. If you really want to go through that, you can knock yourself out. I'm not going to. We've got some cool little pictures here. We'll just have a quick look at them. What's going on here? Alright, sorry, had a bit of a technical glitch. There's your notes, if you want to write some notes. Offside, so this is kind of explaining offside a little bit. So if this, I don't know if I can, player A passes to player B, but then they pass to B1, and then B1 passes to B2. See how they're behind the blue defenders? That means they're in offside position. So yeah, anyway, you can read up on that as much as you like. So yeah, that's it for that. I'll leave a link in the download. Yeah, sorry it was a bit long, but that's what it is. Once you get to kind of know these rules, you don't need to know everything in exact detail. It's more for referees when they're applying the rules. But as long as we know the general rules, so go over it, have a quick look, and then see what applies to you and teach the kids these sorts of things, especially handball in general when they're kids. Playing the whistle is another big one. We don't need to know all the rules as long as we know that when the whistle blows and the referee says stop the game, we stop the game, and then he'll tell us what to do next, or she will tell us what to do next. Simple as that. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hopefully it was good for you. We'll see you in the next video.